Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going through my 2022 board gaming predictions. A load of other channels have done this and it's seemingly a good bit of fun, so why not put some claims out there. I've got a list of 10 and at the end of the year we'll come back and see how badly I have done. So, number 1, I'm going to say that Marvel Zombicide, or Marvel Zombies, however it's going to actually be called, I'm going to say this is going to be CMON's biggest ever Kickstarter. Now, I know that's a huge claim with, all of like the Unk, Rising Sun and previous Zombicides, but I just think it's got the Marvel name to it, as well as being boxes of plastic. I think the two will go hand in hand to make it CMON's best, hopefully, and at least biggest in terms of money Kickstarter. Well, we'll find out because it's seemingly going to be launching soon. Number 2, I have said that Macro Micro 3 is going to be announced or released. I'm going to say released. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be Micro Macro Kids or maybe just a third map. I think the first two are very, very awesome. So I think they could easily do more. And make a third one, but I think they may try and make a purely family kids friendly version, because it just feels like it should be a game that could be enjoyed by everyone, and the crime settings and the crimes being committed don't necessarily allow that to be the case. But Micro Macro 3 in some form in 2022. My next one, now, Gloomhaven, huge game, Jaws of the Lion, much loved. But I'm going to say, because Frosthaven I believe is going to be releasing this year, being 2022, I'm going to say it's not going to hit the Board Game Geek top 10. Now, I think Gloomhaven swept so many people up, and people invested so much time into that experience, and it's still really highly thought of. I just think Frosthaven, it's got a lot more to it. I think a lot of people will love it, but I think there's probably enough people out there. It did phenomenal on Kickstarter, right? It's a big claim that it won't hit the top 10, but I don't know, I just have a feeling that it won't reach the heights of Gloomhaven. Number 4, is that they're going to release, this being probably Asmodee as a branching whole, will release 3 new Star Wars themed games. Now, I'm slightly cheating because they've already announced one, being Jabba's Palace Love Letter. You can see the announcement on the channel with the details for that one. So there's already going to be one, but I think there'll be another 2 games which could be brand new, or they could be just Star Wars themed reworkings of other games coming out this year. It just feels like that's where the sort of industry is going at the moment, to me, in terms of themes sort of becoming a thing, and Star Wars sells, let's be honest. So I can see that becoming more of a thing, certainly with Fantasy Flight, really not doing much, and they were doing a lot of Star Wars, Imperial Assault, Rebellion, and all of the other ones, Legion and all of them. So I could see it becoming more of a thing. We even had the Unlock Star Wars, so I think more to come from Star Wars in board games this year. I'm going to say 3 Star Wars games. Number 5, my prediction is, now this is going to be really hard to quantify, so good luck future me. Lower player count games become more common. Now, I'm not normally the sort of person that will play a game that is a solo experience, but a lot of people are, and I have actually enjoyed a couple of them in the last couple of years. Certainly the likes of like Mazescape, as well as even Micro Macro. That can be soloed and stuff like that. I think there's going to be more games that are really sort of made for 1 to maybe 2 players. Let's say it like that. Now, it's going to be hard to quantify, but I think there should be at least a good chunk of games that have been released with 1 to 2 player range. I just think, certainly with the way the development of games has maybe been halted or sort of maybe adapted in the last year or so, I think some designers will come through having developed solo games and stuff like that. So, I think that's, maybe we'll see some more of those in 2022. Number 6, well, this leads on a little bit from the Star Warsy sort of theme idea. Now, I think we're going to get another big video game crossover. Now, not counting Skyrim, because the GameFound thing has only just finished, I think. We've had Fallout, we've had the Assassin's Creed game. There was the Sony one, which I cannot remember the name of. The female protagonist one that a lot of people sort of raved about. I think that was a Kickstarter one as well. I just get the feeling there's going to be other video games that are going to be their theme applied to board games. I just think, like the Star Wars one, it kind of, that's where we are seeing a lot of something like industry going, because it's like, this is a safe IP. People that like the IP are going to just buy the game, and then hopefully gamers will like the game and buy it as well. So I think they're almost doubling their luck if they pick a good IP. Of course, the publisher's paying for the IP and all that, but I do think that it's maybe a safer bet for them. And I think, saying I think a lot, the publishers, I believe, will prefer a safer option, such as going for an IP that's known. Number 7. Now, I think there's been, I haven't tried them yet, but there is like the Ticket to Ride, the Catan, the Shadow Glyph puzzles. I'm not quite sure what they're classed as, but like the logic puzzle things. Now, I believe they are going to have done okay enough for them to do more. And I think we'll see either a pandemic or an unlock themed logic puzzle thing. Whatever they're called. I think they are the sort of the bigger Asmodee owned IP board games that they could chuck at something like this. With Catan and Ticket to Ride already done, the next biggest on the shelf there, Pandemic, it seems to me like, you could be moving stuff around to find a cure with cubes, or just pushing things up around and trying to figure out a combination of sequencing or something. You could do that for Pandemic. There could be a puzzle there. I think that could be a thing, and maybe 2022 we will see another logic puzzle with either the Unlock or the Pandemic theming. Next up, number 8. I've just mentioned some kind of Ticket to Ride. Big claim they will release another small box Ticket to Ride, and it will be Ticket to Ride Rome. Now, no real sort of logic behind this other than they've done London, New York, Amsterdam. I feel like they might not maybe stick to Europe, but if they do, Rome might be a pretty cool city for them to bring to life in sort of the small Ticket to Ride 20-minute experiences, the sort of city maps rather than the main boards. So there we go. It's a complete oddball, but I think we'll see another one, and my guess would be Rome. Next up is a Harry Potter, Star Wars or Marvel themed roll and write. So we're seeing a lot of, again, I'm coming back to this IP logic. Yeah, it's kind of been a few times on this list, so I'm covering a few areas with this logic, but roll and writes exploded in the last few years. These themes are selling on board games for the last few years. I think it's only a matter of time before we see a combination of the two, and maybe 2022 is the combination year. And my last one. Now, I'd say in the last couple of years we have seen original games and reprints, some in the form of big boxes, be a big thing. But I'm going to say in this year it's going to be more about sequels and expansions. Hard to quantify potentially, but I do think that building off what they've already got, building, the next step or an expansion. In the last few months, it looks like the Lost Ruins of Arnak Leaders expansion. I've not played that yet. I've only played the base game. It sounds like that's been selling like massively. I think that the people will maybe be buying stuff for the games that they've already got, so the expansions, and then I like this game, so I want the next one in the series. Could be completely wrong, but they are my 10 predictions for 2022. Like I said, I will come back at the end of the year, probably to do my next year's ones, but to go through this list to see how wrong I was and give myself a bit of a score. But leave your sort of suggestions, your predictions. What's your top prediction? What's your top 10 predictions? Whatever, for the year in the comment section below. And, depending on what they are, maybe I'll revisit them when I revisit my own thoughts and logics. Until next time, have a great day gaming, and I'm Oliver East signing out.